Thank you so much for supporting both film and live music in one shot. Yeah! So for you eagle-eyed Zombies fans, you may have seen a Rolling Stone article in this film that was an expose on the imposter Zombies bands touring in 1969-1970. And that article was written by none other than the legendary journalist and our moderator for the evening, Mr. Ben Fong-Torres. Please welcome Ben to the stage, as well as our director, Rudy Frontman, Robert Schwartzman, and Colin Blunstone of the drama.
All right, good evening, San Francisco. My town. You know Colin? You know Robert? I'm Ben Fong-Torres, although I may be the fake one, so you'll never know. You're not sure, are you? It's actually a thrill to be here and to be able to meet Colin and to be able to talk about a film that's just come out, and I've seen it twice already, and it's going to be fantastic when it spreads around the country and the world. I want to start out with a couple of questions about the film. Now, I don't think of you as a filmmaker anymore. I think of you as a rock star.
Sweet, thanks.
So, a typical question for a film festival post-screening Q&A. How did you decide to make a documentary about this subject?
You know, I love the Zombies so much. I'm with everyone in this room as far as how much we love this band. And you know, there's something about this band that just really is different than the rest. And it's hard to we could really analyze it and probably come up with a lot of reasons why it stands out. With the British invasion movement, there's a lot of great artists, but the Zombies, you keep coming back to their music because there's something different about this music that really hits you. So it had this effect on me musically. I started, you know, as I talked about earlier, I started a band, I played music for a long time, and then I started directing movies. And I wanted to make a documentary, a first documentary, and I wanted it to be about something I really loved and felt passionate about, and that was the Zombies. So luckily, there was a friend of mine who knew the band, who works in the music publishing world, and I'd asked him, I'd said, you know, the one movie I wish I could make would be like the Zombies documentary. And he said, well, it's funny, I know them, I know the managers, Chris and Cindy, and maybe you should talk to them and sort of pitch an idea. That's how it started. But I just felt like you know, how is there not a movie that tells the story of the Zombies? And I wanted to just dig in deeper and really learn more and more about this band that I love so much. So by shooting the movie, you learn so much about the artist by doing it. So
now, you came into the process when there had already been an idea floating around and being worked, actually, to create the documentary about the Zombies. How long did you take from the time you joined the team to its fulfillment, to its completion?
Yeah, so I jumped in 2022, we started shooting.
Wow.
So it's I mean, you know, the movie kind of came together quickly in a way, but we kept tweaking it. The movie debuted we shot in New York City, that's where we started. Colin, I'm just gonna keep, you remember that, right?
I remember.
We shot in New York City. The guys had just finished a tour, so we met up in New York, and before they went back to England, I got to go to Colin's home, Rod's home, Hugh came out. So I got to meet up with the guys in England. We got them back at Abbey Road, where a lot of magic was made. So it was you know, you go through a process making a documentary, but we debuted at South by Southwest in 2023,
wow.
Which was a couple years ago, and just kept working at it. But from the South by cut, we cut about 20 minutes out of the movie, so it was 20 minutes longer. And the cut still played well, but there was a lot of adjustments to the opening, the ending, the flow of the movie, just to tighten things up. But if anyone's worked on a movie here, you know, you are aware of running time because you have an audience that you want to keep engaged in the film. So even if you love a film and love the subject, you can still cut a film in a way that really can sometimes make it feel sluggish at times, and you lose some interest in sections. But I thought we tried to really tighten it up and adjust the story to make it work. But we got to the cut you saw tonight, which just came out 2 months ago. So this is totally fresh cut that we had for you guys. So,
What were the major challenges in the making of this film?
Colin, you're going to get a word in soon. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah, we will. I have a lot for him.
I know. I'm sure.
I don't mind.
No, it's good.
It's easy for me, and I'm learning how to make a documentary.
Well, it's cool. We've spent a lot of time together on this tour as well, so it's like we're in a touring band now together. This is so cool.
I know, we are, yeah.
We warm up vocals together backstage.
I heard, yeah.
It's pretty cool. Well, what was the
I heard Colin's going to be making a documentary about the Roonies.
I know he's going to make a Rooney documentary now. That is the
Rooney
plan.
exposed.
We were going to tell you guys at the end of it. But wait, tell me the question one more time.
Oh,
Sorry.
the question what the challenges were, and one of the challenges I would think for the people who began the project was getting funding, because the Zombies are not your typical subject matter for a behind the music kind of expose of a band. They're not the Stones or the Who or certainly the Beatles we get a lot of, but were the Zombies a hard sell for people?
Yeah, I mean, well, not for,
Not for fans, like
yeah, I mean, you need, to make anything independently, you need people to really believe in it. And then it's that passion that you have that you hopefully can pull other people in. So you feel the passion when you pitch an idea to somebody, right? And that's, I don't think you can fake that kind of a love for something, right? So if it's there, hopefully other people feel it too. But yeah, I mean, make any movie takes a long time, and to get people to finance it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for those of you who don't know, this movie was made independently, so it wasn't pre-sold to a studio or a streaming platform that paid and wrote the big checks for it. It was made independently. So we raised the financing from different groups in little pieces, and then we got it funded.
Thank you.
Yes, awesome. So thank you, and thank you to everybody that was involved in this. But it's yeah, I mean, yeah, there's so much to talk about, but I'm going to lose all my thoughts.
I think that, one thing I was just going to say that certainly I and Rod Arsham were slightly concerned about was that because most of this film concerns the original band in the 60s, we were worried there wouldn't be enough original film from the 60s. People didn't film things in the 60s like they do now, but Robert did so well. He found little clips of film from 64 to 67. I had no idea that they existed. And the first time I saw this film, some of the clips were a big shock to me. I know that sounds weird, you're watching a film about yourself. And I see something come up when we were sort of 18 years old, playing at somebody's 21st birthday. I recognize it, somebody's 21st birthday party. And Robert found these clips of film. He did such a good job. So that was sort of my concern about the film, really.
Yeah. Well, that's because there wasn't a lot of footage. There wasn't like some massive archive that we could pull from, and it was like, oh my God, look at this incredible show that no one saw. Or we didn't stumble on anything like that, but we just had to keep digging till we found enough stuff. But we got great interviews, and that helped us create the foundation of the conversation. And when you make something, you kind of cheat stuff in there, so you'll cut to something of like archival footage that's different. That's not exactly what we're talking about, but it takes you back to a place and time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank God for Shindig and Hullabaloo.
Oh yes, totally.
Colin, I can't say how thrilled I am to be here to meet you. You're one of the stars of our radio show in our mind. I program you constantly, both in my head and on the stations I was lucky enough to be a DJ on, as well as Rod's Music, Argent. But now I have a question for you. It's been about 64 years. Have you gotten over the name Zombies yet?
Well, I must admit that we did have problems. It seems a very silly thing, but bands have to have a name. And we were going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And we were 15 years old, and we were just trying to find a name. And I think it says in the film, to start with, for about a week, we were the Mustangs, which died a death. There were a million bands. And then, to my shame, my utter shame, I came up with the name The Sundowners. I'm so sorry. It's awful. And then the only guy who ever left the band, I don't know if he left the band because of the name, but the only band who ever left the band came up with this name, The Zombies. And I had no bloody idea what a zombie was. No idea. I'll tell you a secret. I still don't know what a zombie is. But it was catchy and it stuck. And the rest of the guys absolutely loved it. I was a bit iffy, but listen, the person who just come up with the Sundowners, I can't criticise the Zombies. So it stuck, and there we are. We were the Zombies.
It runs counter to marketing strategy, which is in the old days, it was name yourself something that starts with an A so that you're the first in the phone book. Remember phones and books? Wow. You choose, well, you didn't choose it, that's for sure. You chose the opposite tack, zombies. Now, in the film, we hear from Rod what inspired She's Not There, that first line, right?
Yes, I think it's a John Lee Hooker
yes,
song.
John Lee Hooker.
And it was No One Told Me.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always emphasize it wasn't no one told me about her, and there's no connection with the melody at all. It was just that phrase.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that with a song. You just need, that's what I call a trigger. And that just gets you started, and then you build around it, almost like doing a crossword. It's not always like that, but sometimes.
He also wrote Tell Her No.
Yes.
And I wonder, even though he's given solo credit, were there times when you had joint sessions, or were you able to observe and help out on a line or a rhyme?
With that song, I tell you who really inspired Rob with that song, except I can't remember his name, so I can't tell you really. Who wrote for Dion Warrick?
Burt Bacharach.
Burt Bacharach. We toured. Thanks for that, by the way. Checks in the post. We toured with Dion Warrick, and she sang all these wonderful songs. We toured for weeks. And Rod noticed all these wonderful chords. Now, Tell Her No sounds like a really simple song, but when you try and play it, it's not the music. So that's where the original idea came from that. But I'll just share another story, that when they recorded that song, it was very late at night, and I was in the control room, and I was fast asleep when they did the backing track. I was always very involved in everything we did, as you can see. I was fast asleep. And they woke me up to sing the lyric. And there's a bit in the second chorus where you go, don't tell her no, 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 da, 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 da. I can't remember where it comes now, but da, 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 da. I was just been woken up, and that's what I sang. Da, 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 da. You listen to it in the second chorus. And I went into the control room and I said to the producer, I have to do that bit again. I'm really sorry. I was half asleep and I've slurred my way through a load of nonsense. And he said, don't worry about that. That's fine. That's great. Next song, we're off. And he was right. That song went to number 6 in the charts in America. And I've not got a clue what it's about, because it's not about anything.
But the problem is, if you were to go on to a live bandstand or a Ned Sullivan type show, and you had to lip sync to that song, you would have to lip mumble.
I would lip mumble, and I think I would close my eyes so that I could feel like back asleep again. So, I'm sure that would go down really well.
Now I need to mumble this next question. It is sad watching the film to learn about how you were cheated by management and underpaid, and as Rod says in the film, you lost millions of pounds. Was that really the primary reason that the band dissolved?
Well, if I could say just first of all that I think many bands don't get all the money they should, even today. But in the 60s, it wasn't just us, and this is not a cry for sympathy. It was all bands went through this process, and you came out of it wiser and stronger. It's just something that happened. But the 3 non-writers, so that would be the drummer Hugh Grundy, and Paul Atkinson, guitarist, and unfortunately me, being non-writers, we were absolutely broke, and it did. I think it played a part in the band breaking up because we couldn't eat. That's the thing. We just had no money.
Well, you were very young. As you say, you started at 15 and you were stars at 18 or 19. But didn't you have any access to adults outside of your manager, that is parents, lawyer friends of the family to go and consult with?
Well, in a word, no. But thanks for asking. It was a new business in those days. Our parents, of course, would have wanted to protect us, but they didn't understand anything about it. We didn't have any lawyer friends or any legal advice, and I think even the management companies that managed us, they didn't really know what they were doing either, because the irony is that if they'd have acted as wise, knowledgeable advisors and seen us through a lengthy career, they would have made more money in the long run. So they were fools to themselves. They would have made more money, they would have been fulfilled, and I think they would have had far more credibility. And instead of that, they saw rock and roll as a 3-year, 4-year thing, and they wanted to make as much money as possible. And just to emphasize, it wasn't just us. Even the Beatles and Rolling Stones didn't make money to start with, and the lesser bands, of which we were one, much lesser, didn't make any money. Absolutely none. Well, to be honest, we would be being paid £10 a week each. So that would be like about, I know it's a long time ago, but believe me, you couldn't buy much beer for £10 a week.
What we've been talking about just now, the cheating of artists and songwriters, is certainly a big part of the history, the entire history of R&B music and blues and jazz, and everybody was always beholden to lawyers and thugs, seems like. So yes, you were not alone, sadly. On an upper note, how was it for you to revisit the old studios?
Oh, the old Abbey Road?
Yes.
Abbey Road's a magical place, just because of its history. So much wonderful music was recorded at Abbey Road. Of course, the Beatles recorded there for much of the beginning of their career. They usually recorded in Studio 2, and we usually recorded in Studio 3, although the Beatles did record in Studio 3 as well. Going back there is a wonderful experience and very emotional. It really is. In fact, we went back there just before I came over the day before I came over to America. I don't know this program, but you might know it. CBS do a news program on Sunday mornings in America.
Yep.
And they're going to do a feature on the zombies. I'm afraid I can't tell you when, but I think it's going to be quite soon. And part of that feature, they took Rod Argent and myself back to Abbey Road on the Sunday before I came over to America, and it was as emotional as ever. And Rod sat down and started playing the piano with all these bloody cameras on us, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to bloody sing. And so we got a song going there, and it was very interesting to have that feeling again of performing. I didn't know we were going to do a performance in Abbey Road. Bit daunting, chaps, bit daunting. But we got through it.
You can't keep Rod away from the piano.
Certainly can't. I wish I could.
In 1986, I was asked to join the morning show of KFOG at 104.5, and the morning show is going to London for a week at Capitol Studios to interview a string of pop celebrities, musicians, other behind-the-scenesters coming through the studios, 3 or 4 per show. And they hired me to conduct the interviews. And so one of them, on our last day in London of 5 days, was Rod Argent. And so we chatted, and then I told him that this was the last day for our news commentator, Scoop Nisker, and that I had written a song for him to the tune of Louie Louie, and we called it Scoopo Scoopo. And who jumped on the piano to join in? Rod Argent on KSAN, or KFOG. Now, the breakup, of course, was painful for you, and I think looking at the film, I felt like you were the one who probably had the most optimism that it could be turned around, that you could somehow continue on. Is that accurate?
Well, I think possibly that's true. The thing for me is I was always curious what we might have done after Odyssey and Oracle. And Rolling Stone named Odyssey and Oracle, our last album, as one of the best 100 albums ever. Thank you. I hope that didn't sound like boasting. I didn't mean it to, but because it got that sort of acclaim, I just thought it would have been great to have seen what we could have done next. And I think most of the other guys knew what they were going to do, but I didn't have a plan B. And I remember driving home from this sort of fatal meeting that we had, driving the car. I was probably 22 at this point, and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. It was a little, I could tell you it was exciting. It was bloody scary, actually, to tell you the truth. But it all worked out in the end, so it's okay.
But Colin, you could have just fallen back on the insurance company.
I did. I took the first job. I don't want you to think that I'm driven to be in an insurance company. I don't feel any vocation to be an insurance agent, but they'll take anybody. I know the first day I went in there, I don't know anything about insurance. I wasn't even sure if I could spell it, to be honest. And I walked in, and I had a desk, and the phone rang on the first day, and somebody at the other end is going to ask me something about insurance. It was far more scary than playing in front of 20,000 people. I have to pick it up, and go, I was in the burglary department. I've no idea what that means. I never knew. I thought maybe we arranged burglaries at one time. But I think we insured against burglaries. So somebody phoned me up, I've got £7 million worth of jewels and we want to insure it against insurance. Well, I'm your man, I'll tell you. You just have to bluff. But the music business is a very good background for learning how to bluff. And so I bluffed for a year in insurance.
So no agent ever asked you about a claim, and you said, tell her no, 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 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted you in 2019. Those assholes, you've been qualified since 1989. 25 years after your first record. A lot of bands would say, fuck you. Where you been the last 25 years? You were a little bit more gentlemanly.
Well, we've always thought of ourselves as an emerging rock band, but it just took us a long time to emerge. And so, in 2019, we were inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was absolutely incredible. It was the Barclays Centre in Brooklyn in front of 17,000 people, and The Cure, Def Leppard, Radiohead, Janet Jackson, Stevie Nicks, and Roxy Music. It was a great show. I mean, it was really, really wonderful. Like, I think you saw bits of it on the film.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful experience. I wouldn't have missed it for anything.
One of the other really nice moments of the show, with so many nice ones, and all well-deserved, is that the film is sandwiched between praise from music fans of today and also the musical stars of today, like Phineas and Harry Styles, Post Malone and Haim. How did Robert know about artists like them and Dave Grohl and Tom Petty and Arcade 5? Are these people that you and your fellow producers heard about, liking and loving and remembering the Zombies and wanting to be part of the film?
We just kind of, some of it was just sort of gathered over time, these pieces of artists sharing their love of the band. There was a Zombies Live from Abbey Road broadcast, and some of those clips were from fans of other artists shouting out their love for the Zombies. And then like the Phineas clip was just recently, when the movie was finished, we cut that into the film right before we delivered it. So that was like a last minute addition. But you know, I think a lot of artists out there are really open about their love for the Zombies. I don't think anyone's shy about it. I think people have gone on record in interviews calling the Zombies a big inspiration for their music. So you start to sort of research who's said they love the band, who's covered songs, and then you make your way. But we wanted a section of showing, you know, one of the early ideas was can we get some of these artists to do an interview in the movie, which is a very traditional thing. If you guys seen a lot of music docs, you cut to like Dave Grohl talking about the band or something. But it didn't feel like we needed it once we had it all cut together. It felt like it was enough just to see a montage of people during the Friends of Mine song playing under it. But I think you toured with Arcade Fire, right? Years ago, you guys did a tour together, Arcade Fire?
Well, yeah, we played some dates with them.
Dates, yeah. So there were bands that they shared the stage with that were in the film as well. So that was an easy find because they played together. Yeah.
And Colin, what was your reaction to seeing this wide range, generationally and musically, of appreciation for the work you did?
Well, I think that when your peers show an appreciation for what you've done, first of all, it's very exciting. It gives you a great lift, but it validates to some extent what you've been doing. And remembering that Odyssey and Oracle wasn't a commercial success when it first came out, and also the Zombies did go through some pretty hard times in that first band. It's great to realize that people look back and really enjoy, and can even be inspired by what we were doing, even though these records were sort of discovered, if you like, many years after they were recorded. So it's really uplifting for the band, I think, to realize that, you know, that there was some value in what we were doing.
Yes, indeed. You're pretty humble about it, but the fact is that this is not just a nostalgia trip with the appreciation of the Zombies. Just listen to the man as he was a few moments ago and how strong he sounds. This is great voice. A great voice, yeah. And he thanks you, but he's too humble. Is it okay to say that this is going to be on VOD television on the 22nd?
Yeah.
Oops, I just said it.
You just said it. By the way, I will share a singing story because any singers in the house tonight? Singers? Yes. So like when you sing music, you pay attention very closely to other singers, and you kind of listen to where their voice is placed and things like that. But Colin's voice is just so, it's so special. His voice of where he can sing soft and breathy and sweet, and then he can sing an edgier, harder song. Yeah. So it's not even just about range, it's about the attitude of his voice. I think it's just very different.
Yeah. But
we didn't really get to hang out much to get ready for the tour up until the day before the New York show. So this is a series of shows we're doing together, doing these songs. But we jammed for the first time in New York, and when Colin sang for the first time, when you're in the room together and he's singing, it's like you really feel the power of the voice, like when it's right here in your face, so it's pretty amazing. But anyway, yes. But also, you know, in the movie, he says it, I mean, there's not like there's a big ego of like, I'm the best singer in the world, man. Or like, we're the best band ever. There isn't that kind of, it's just a love of music and just this sort of very genuine way of approaching music, which I think is why I think a lot of people connect to them. And the music, I think when you work hard and make great things, people eventually will find it. So I think they just happen to make so many great things over so many years.
And they're going to be finding it in mass starting on the 22nd of
Yeah, I mean, so we're here in the room together, obviously. We're all here. I think we're here, right?
It's a secret.
Are we here? It's on July 22nd. It'll be on demand. So it'll be out everywhere on demand on the 20th. So that's next week, right?
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon. Yes, we're saying that so, you know, it's nice to spread the word. So it's good, you know, to talk about it. So anyway, tell your friends to check it out.
I think our time is up.
Is that it?
Let's see. What do the bosses say?
Awesome.
One more song.
Thank you, San Francisco. You guys are awesome.
Robert.
Colin, Blunstone.
Thank you. Thank you very much.